So hi everybody to the Life Givers Nation. We are here to give the report of the last ceremony that we had here in the Longhouse grounds. That was on Sunday, this past Sunday, and it was about the raspberry. And this ceremony was a very interesting one because it was raining in the morning. So we thought, oh, we usually start the ceremonies at 10, but this time we had to kind of wait a little bit till it got a little bit like drier and to know where exactly we would be doing the fire. So we ended up doing the ceremony at the teepee. And since we were at the teepee, the fire was in the teepee. And as usual, we brought the Onagoro of the Newisni Hunzage, the Five Nations Confederacy. There was a collection of tobacco. So it was Esu who went around with the basket to collect the tobacco. And then everyone offered their tobacco. Stuart took the basket and offered the tobacco to the fire. And it was a very intense in realization of the time ceremony, in the sense that there was a lot of words about the evolution of things, what truly is evolution and what is not, and what it has taken for the Longhouse to get here. It has taken a lot of holding and a lot of positioning, a lot of stepping on the ground to be able to be holding on to what is here, and that no behavior or nothing that is not belonging to that will be able to alter or affect the course of the Longhouse, of that continuing bloodline that has been carrying itself since the beginning of times. So after we did the collection of the tobacco, and Stuart spoke very powerful words on these lines that Marisol is going to also mention some stuff about, there was the Stoa Goa. And it was a beautiful moment because we usually, when we do the ceremonies outside, we go in the middle of the lawn and then we do the ceremony. But this time it was decided to go in the middle of the raspberry bushes. So the guys took the bench, they sat there, and the Stoa Goa was done here. So the women, the life givers, were going around in the like first two, because it was like, there's like kind of four lines a little bit. So the bench was completely in the middle, so we were going around the first two, and the guys, which is always or either Haha or Eso, depending who is singing, was going outside on the circle for the life protectors. So it was a beautiful acknowledgement and recognition that the ceremony of the raspberry was for the first time being carried out actually at the raspberry bushes. And we also spoke a lot about managing the raspberry bushes. For example, there's new raspberries that are at the outhouse, that is like a big bush that now started growing. So we're saying we need to manage them. We need to like maybe plant them somewhere else in a way that they can be more seeable. So we even spoke about having like a 3-ring garden, like a little bit like the ceremonial garden that is 5 circles. This one would be more like 3-ring garden where we could plant the raspberries and we could go around in a circular garden. So that's an idea to be pushed forward and to be executed for the next period of time. And so after that, we did also the Gonues dance, the life givers dance, sacred dance. As usual, it is the man Stuart that takes the water drum that goes with the beat, and then the guys that go with the rattle, and us life givers go turning around. And at the breakage of the beat, we turn in a little circle to signify the cycles of Grandma Moon and how they are carrying us all the time. And this is a short ceremony. So after that, everybody offered their greetings as well and their acknowledgements or whatever they wanted to say to Raspberry, to Skanawatanana. That we always hear that there's a word of peace there, Skana Watarana. Although our Guru has said that it's not necessarily that, but we still hear it. So Skana Watarana. And so after these 2 dances, we just did the Stoa Goa again. So the first time is always Haha, usually Haha that does the dance, the song with Stuart, and at the end is usually Esu that does the dance, the song with Stuart. So that's what was in the structure and a few lines of what's done in the raspberry 30s here and now.
Just Tadadaho, if you could explain. Ayawanta, Tadahada.
Yeah, but I don't really recall much of that.
don't?
So
No? Okay. Well, right at the beginning, Stuart said that it was very similar to what happened between Tadadaho, Ayawanta. You know, there's always the same movement between whatever key dynamic, you know, in the constitution of the Great Law of Peace. And he said, well, it was the same process happening again. He talked about technological evolution. He said, as an example, you know, an exhaust on a car. So maybe, yeah, we don't see black smoke coming out, but we're not necessarily, we cannot consider the car to be so environmentally friendly either, because now the car has so much components that are plastic and are toxic on the environment. So we talked about how the technological evolvement or evolution is not really one. We also talked a little bit about the water. You know, even if the water is, say, transparent, it doesn't mean that there's no toxicity in the water. There's a lot of presence also of chemical product, even in bottles that we can buy at the shop, you know. He also says people have been terrorized for hundreds of years in order to accept all kinds of things. And he mentioned about Coca-Cola, and he says people can drink black water or coffee, it's the same, or Gatorade or whatever. So it's to condition people to accept all kinds of things in relation to water. He also talked about what's going on in Europe. There's so much climate movement over there. There's a flooding that are touching a lot in Germany, especially. And on the news, we saw that some cemeteries were dug up. So Stuart talked about that and said, oh, that's a coincidence, but is it really a coincidence? Because here our children are coming back from the dead to speak to us. Is it the same happening in Germany? He talked about LA. He said in LA, they had removed everything, all the restrictions that they imposed on the people there. It was all removed. Everybody was free, no mask, whatever. And now, 2 weeks ago, they started to put the mask and all the restrictions back. So he says that this is a maneuver that they use to program the population, to manipulate the population. Stuart gave a lot of thanks to his mother. He said, to the two heads present, he said, if you have that dream in your mind, that means you have my mother in your mind and your heart. And this is her guiding this process all along. He talked about the counseling process. We know that we're not in full application of the Great Law of Peace protocols right now, but he says that he expects the counseling process to be back on the 9th moon. So where he says many things will be addressed there. It's not going to be any sort of dialogue or anything. It's going to be very straightforward. Everybody will know clearly the direction, what to expect, etc. He also said that some behaviors were pointed to the heads previously. And he said that if those behaviors are still present where we clearly stated that they were not acceptable, it will be then pointed out again in a way that the people concerned will not be able to omit it. And he also insisted a lot, even though Stuart's sons were present, it was Aha, Esu, Edith, and myself present. And he said to all of us present that for practically all his life, he's been prepared for what is happening. He's ready to stand alone. If it means that he needs to disconnect from corruption from any of us, it wouldn't make any change in the process that he knows he's part of in the name of course, his mother. So yeah, so that's it for my part. And Angel wasn't there, but that's it. So that's why we finished there today. Yeah. Hey, I need to stop that now. Stop. Did it stop?